Hey, Boise State fans, welcome to a special edition of Bronco Nation Live. We are streaming directly to you on BroncoNationUpdates.com, our Meta Bronco Nation page, and the BTT X account. And also, you're seeing the backstage on TikTok as well. So welcome on in. He's Sam Gillette with Sam Talk Sports, and I'm Nick Wade with BNU. This is BNL, a production of Bronco Nation Updates and Blue Elevation by Boise State fans for Boise State fans. You know what? Close to full spring, and the way that we know it's here is you start seeing people training for the race to Roby Creek. And also the boys and girls this summer are getting back to hardball. And speaking of the Diamond, our Boise State Softball team has wrapped up a hard road trip. They've started out the season 15-5 and will be hosting the Blue Collar Classic this weekend at the DLP. We wanted to bring someone on to share their love for ball. So joining us tonight is a former softball player recruited out of Junction City, Oregon, who played for Boise State 2021 through 2024. In those years, she was a three-time academic All-Mountain West second teamer and NFCA All-Pacific third team in 2022. Also in 2022, was ranked 13th nationally for being the toughest to strike out. This player ranks 8th all-time for Boise State with 427 putouts, and is tough as hell, ranking 4th all-time for Boise State with 18 hit by pitch. 2023 Mountain West Conference regular season champion, second baseman, number 12, Abby Bumcrot.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for coming, Bubby. I'm glad you're here.
Me too. Thank you guys for having me.
Well, the softball team has just completed a 20-game road trip. I mean, you're accustomed to this. Like we live, we're here in Boise, and so February is, it's not the kind of weather that we're playing ball in, right? So, so the normal for Boise State is you go out and you go play ball in the sunny places like like Texas and California, Southern Utah, sometimes in Arizona, stuff like
In
that.
Mexico now?
Yep.
Lucky.
Yeah, yep. The Puerto Vallarta Classic, and they actually they crushed that one. They took that one
They did.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
So we'll just start this out. Like, what I don't. You were recruited by Coach Maggie, correct?
Yes. Yeah. And Coach Rich and Coach Snow. Yeah.
Because you came before Coach Schultz came in in 2021. You'd already completed the season by then.
Yeah.
So yeah. So why don't you tell everybody like what led you to Boise State? How would that recruiting process go? Coming from Junction City, Oregon, here to Boise.
Yeah. So I reached out to Boise State a little bit, but I never like had my eyes set on them. I actually went to a Cal State Fullerton camp, and Coach Rich was there. They did like a little meshed up camp. So I met him through that, and I had a couple conversations with him like after the camp. I invited him to come watch me play. I think we were playing in PGF around that time, but yeah, so I invited him to a couple of games, and he came. And it's funny because I never met Coach Mags until like later on, because he was the only one like coming to the games and stuff. But yeah, so I met him, and then they invited me to a camp, and so it was actually my first time in Boise, coming to the camp. And as soon as it's funny, my mom talks about it all the time, but as soon as I like went up in the bleachers before the camp started, I was like the first one there. I signed in, and I told my mom, I looked at her, I said, I'm going here. Like, this is where I want to go. Like, I'm going to end up here. Like, the community's awesome. Like, going downtown, it's so fun. Like, it's clean. There's so many things to do down there. And I don't know, it's just a fun, like, little community. And the campus is nice. It's not too big. It's not too small. But yeah, it's super fun. So.
And that's why I brought you on the show, because I knew how much you love ball. Ball's one of my first loves. I'm really into football now, but like baseball was like when I was able to swing from a tee, like it was me. And so that I had to get you on here because I know that how much you love ball. So can you tell us about maybe some of your favorite moments during your career at Boise State?
Yeah. That one was hard to answer. I've had so many like awesome moments throughout my career, like sharing with my teammates and my coaches and the community and like my family. But the top two that I picked off the top of my head was probably because I'm from Oregon. So we played in Oregon my senior year fall. And so all my family and all my friends got to come out and watch me play. And I actually hit a home run. So that was probably my favorite moment. And then my second one was probably winning the Mountain West, because that was just awesome. That was the best.
Mm-hmm. So, what about when you hit when you went yard twice in one game? What about that? Where does that run? Didn't you hit?
Did I? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I did.
In 2022, I either it was either in one game or maybe it was in a doubleheader.
Maybe it's. I don't know. I remember I hit two, but I don't know if it was in one game.
Okay.
But those were awesome too, though. They were all great.
Yeah, because what impressed me about you is when you ranked 13th and hardest to strike out, because whenever you got up there, man, it was like you were really selective, but you also were clutch. Like even last year, you and the House of Flores clutched up at the end of that season, and led us into the, at least the championship game. Didn't quite get to regionals, but yeah. So like I said, we've been following you on Instagram for a while and seeing a lot of your costumes, some for Halloween and some of the team building. The team building things that you do. So what has been your? I think I've seen you as a minion, and seen you as a nerd or something like that. But what's your favorite costume?
That's a hard one too, because me and Ashlyn Whalen, we like dressed up together every year. And so, oh my gosh. Yeah, that was really good. But I think my favorite one, honestly, was the Dumb and Dumber costume. That was, I think, my sophomore year, I believe. Yeah, my sophomore year. We dressed up as Dumb and Dumber. That was probably my favorite. And the Step Brothers, the Dr. Evil and Mini-Me was pretty good, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, those are like, I don't know, so, in the off season and stuff, when you guys are doing that, those are some of my favorite posting from Boise State Softball and the players. It's funny to watch. I don't dress up, so I get to live vicariously through people like that.
They're so fun.
Yeah, like right now is, I got my Braves hat on. That's about as dressed up as I get.
I was born on Halloween, so I try to go in my birthday suit every year, and they always tell me not to. For whatever reason, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Can you tell us like who have been some of the people that you've enjoyed playing with? Maybe not tell us your favorites, because I don't want you to see anybody. Like, who are the people that you really enjoy playing with?
That's another hard question. I'd have to say, like, everybody I got to like have the experience with, like, my whole 4 years, like, I love playing with all of them. But the people that stood out to me most was probably my senior class. So Ashlyn Whalen, Jordan Hutchins, and Taylor Cottle, just because we all started together. Like, I just feel like we balanced each other out really well. Like, Ashlyn is a very energetic, loud player, good teammate. Jordan, we used to call her the silent assassin, because when it's game time, like, she's locked in, like, ready to go. Taylor, she's very encouraging, and like, she has the right things to say. Like, if I'm having a bad game, like, I find myself going to her all the time. So probably them. And then of course everybody else, but they just stand out to me most. So
yeah, I was really rooting for you guys last year. Like, I was really rooting for that back-to-back and getting into the tournament on you and Taylor and Jay's the last, and Ashlyn and Alicia, your last draw is really super, like, I haven't ticked off a fan in that championship like Brazen. So, we are heading into Blue Collar Classic weekend. Tomorrow's game 1 versus Idaho State at 5:00 at DLP. Can you, maybe you would probably know best, like, is that first stretch of games that the team goes through on the road, is that kind of brutal, or what is that? How does that help the team chemistry? How does it help you personally? Like, what does that do for you?
From my experience, the first 4 weeks are super hard. That's probably like the most draining time, obviously, because you're on the road for 4 weekends straight. And I remember last year we went to Texas, and then it was for a weekend, and then we drove to Louisiana, and then we played like a midweek game, and then we played that weekend at LSU. And so it was like, it's hard, like, being away from home that long, and you don't get home cooked meals. You eat on the road all the time. You're with everybody 24/7. Like, you don't get alone time. But I mean, it builds the chemistry. It's just super hard to, like, when your social battery runs out or your body's tired and you have practice the next day and then you play a game. But it's worth it, honestly. It's just super tiring and it's hard, but like, that's what you signed up for, and it's so worth it. I miss it. So
what do the coaches do to kind of help that fatigue that you feel on the road? Do they do anything to help that out?
Yeah, so what we always used to do is we'd go on like coffee walks. So it's like, we're not like exercising necessarily, but we get up and get our bodies moving. And then just kind of spending time with each other. We'll go to like team dinners. That was super nice. Or like some of the girls would bring like their little, I don't know what it was, like a Nintendo thing, and plug it into the TV, and we'd all go in the room and play and stuff. But just kind of spending quality time with each other and like building those connections, even though like you guys have already been with each other for the whole fall, but like getting to know them on a different level, like when you're in season and it's like go kind of thing. So
they just got done they were in San Antonio last weekend. So how does that week, when you come back, are you guys, how are you traveling? Like back and forth, are you flying? Or like, does it depend on how close it is? Are you taking a bus? Like how does that work?
Yeah, so depending on how far it is, usually we'll fly. But if I think they were just in Utah too, so I think they drove. I'm not really sure, but usually when it's in like Utah, we'll drive. We mostly fly, but my sophomore year, I believe we played at UC Davis, but I think we flew there, and then we ended up driving from there to Reno to play our conference game against Nevada. But it really just depends on like how close it is. They won't make us like drive super far if it's like California or anything, but as long as it's like pretty close. Yeah, we usually just fly though.
So when you guys got back to Boise, did it take a whole week to just kind of like, catch up and get ready for your homestead? How does that work?
We usually get back like Sunday nights, and then we have Monday off. So I would usually spend my time. I'd probably go into the fueling station in the weight room in the morning, and then I'd do homework, just kind of get myself ready for the week. And then we just practice the first or the last 2 days, and then we get ready. Our game day practice is pretty easy. It's not like he tries to just take it easy a little bit, and then we'll just go over like the plan and like the lineup, what we think they're going to look like basically. So super easy. It's just a lot. And it's nice when you're finally home though. So that's the best part about it.
I bet you like when you guys came back, you're just like ready to go. Like, like, let's go.
Nonstop. Yeah.
Yeah. So we really want to try to attract people to the games. We want to do our part to sell out every single one of the games. We did great last year. So I'm going to ask you some questions like if I was like a brand new fan, right? Even though I know how it goes. so when a brand new attender at a game comes and they hear all the chanting and stuff, right? Both dugouts just chanting away, going around. What would help the team, for that, that ninth man, right? That home field advantage. When is the most appropriate time to chant at a batter or a pitcher? How does that work for you? Like, what's the etiquette for a fan?
For fans, that's a hard question because I'm like, what do you mean exactly? Like,
so like if you're up to bat, Abby, and the fans are giving the pitcher, in the circle hell, like is that gonna affect your batting, or you want them to wait for the bat when they're batting? So like how does that work for you?
They can do it both ways. When I'm hitting and like people are like chanting at like the pitcher or something, like fans, I don't hear a word. Like I'm so locked in, I don't hear anything. So I guess that's the best time, or when they're at the bat too. I remember playing a home series. I don't remember who we were playing, but somebody was chirping at one of the batters on the other team, but it was just like one girl. And I was like, oof, I don't want that. I would not want that, but yeah.
Yeah. Because somebody who's just come to a game, it's rocking in there because both dugouts are going nonstop and stuff. So you never if you're newer, you wouldn't know. For me personally, I know that you guys get in the zone and stuff, so I don't think it really bothers you. So when I've been doing my cheering, it bothers the other parents and stuff. So
yeah,
and that's that's out of sight, out of mind for you guys. So
yeah.
Tomorrow's game is at 5:00 at DLP. And remember, we're here in Boise, and so you got to kind of watch the weather. I always go with at least a hoodie, because it's still cold.
Yeah.
So Bronco Nation, if you're watching this, want you to show up, regardless of what the weather is. they may have to sit and wait a little bit. So what's that like when you have like a delay? Like, how do you stay in, like, locked in, or is it better to just kind of relax and then just wait until, you're called back up onto the field?
Yeah. When we have like delays, I don't remember how many we had last year. I remember our one against San Jose, I think. It was nice out, and then it like started hailing randomly and like raining and stuff, but they'll have us go in the dugout, and I remember like we were all upset because like we had a lot of momentum like flowing throughout that game, even though it was like the first inning. And I remember the team that we were playing, they were helping us tarp, and one of the girls was like, "Oh, like, yes, we have a delay, like, excited about it, right?" And so we go back into the dugout and we're all talking about it, and we're just like, it shows, like how locked in, and like we want to be there, we want to play, we want the win. But usually we'll just go in to our locker room, we'll kind of like play ping pong ball. We'll listen to music, we'll hang out on the bean bags. And then when it's time to go, like it's time to go. We get out, get our bodies moving. So
if you could tell the general public that wouldn't actually come to a game normally, if you could tell them one thing about college softball that would attract them to come out and be new fans, or at least get into it, show some support, what would that one thing be?
I would say that softball is just a really high energy sport, and there's like a lot of raw emotion because it's all mental. Everything just goes fast. Like, I'd also say that it is growing. It's a very intense sport. Another thing, it's just the energy super unmatched compared to other sports, in my opinion. Just it's super quick. You don't have any time to like think about an error, like next play. Boom. Just I don't know. It's just the atmosphere is awesome, especially at DLP. So
nice. Yeah, I haven't been to a softball game.
You haven't?
I've been to high school. I was actually the manager for my high school softball team. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I played football, basketball, track, and was a softball manager. There may have been a girl involved. What would you do, or what would you say the difference between coming to a softball game versus maybe but I know Boise State doesn't have a baseball team, but what would you do to tell people, say, hey, come out here and come watch us play? It's better than baseball, or it's the same as baseball, or how would you work get them to come out?
Well,
besides the energy.
Yeah, the energy is great. First of all, like obviously I've been to baseball games, and like I love the sport. Like I love watching baseball. Like it's like I look up highlights on YouTube like when I'm bored. Like I just love the sport. But I think softball is like very fast paced. There's a lot more energy because guys don't really cheer. You don't hear that.
Yeah.
Also it's just fun. Like I feel like I'm not like trying to discredit like baseball players or anything, but also like I feel like the girls are like more like they show a little bit more of effort, I guess. I would say like we have to finish through the bag, or if they pop up, like they just stand. You know what I mean? Like it's just the little things like that I think we do a lot better. But I do love baseball, so it's kind of hard for me to be like, don't go watch baseball, watch softball. But yeah,
do you think that might have anything to do with there not being a national softball league well known? I mean, I know there's probably club sports out there, but do you think that there's baseball at another level as opposed to softball? You really got to search for it. Do you think that might be the reason why there's that high intensity in college softball, because that's it for most everybody?
Yeah, I think so, honestly. And I don't know, like there is a pro league for softball, but it's just not like talked about enough. I think like they advocate for it like on social media, and like the players do, but like nobody else like talks about it, or like it's like, oh, like let's watch college or professional softball, and it's more about like the MLB kind of thing. And like people ask me, they're like, have you ever thought of going pro? And I'm like, oh, like it would be fun, it'd be like a good experience. And they're like, well, do they even have a pro team? And it's like, oh yeah, they do. Like, let me tell you about it. Let me educate you on this topic, so.
What would you do to the game to draw in a crowd that normally wouldn't come to a game?
I think we've done a good job of this already, like when I was a part of the team. But something that I've done a couple times is I'd get together with the media team and we'd go out to campus during like the busiest hours. And then we'd hand out like flyers. So like the times of our games, like who we're playing, and just kind of like build a connection like with the community and the students, just kind of telling them about our program and like what we're about. And then another thing is social media. We already do a good job at that. That's where we get like most of our fans that don't really come. And then I'd say like community service. So in the fall we do like a couple challenges, and community service is one of them. So just kind of like building the connections with the community and like, hey, like come out, like we're playing this weekend, so just having those connections as well.
Do you think, and it may already be a thing at the university, I played football, and one of the things that they did was the different sports teams would come out and support. Smaller college, nowhere near the size of Boise State. But do they do that there at Boise State? Do they have the other teams on campus come out and support and show out?
Yeah, so we'll see. Like when I went and did the campus thing, like I'll see athletes out there, and like we're all friends with them, like behind scenes, we all chat. But we usually just text them like, hey, you should bring the team out, or we'll come out to your game, vice versa. And then we also like have not like team bonding things, but my junior year we were practicing and we had the golf team and they came and played softball, and then we went and played golf. So it was really fun. Like, I don't know, just doing little things like that to like build the connections, especially like with the other athletes, is like super important. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're heading into a break, and then on the other side of the break, we will be covering the 2025 Boise State softball team. So hang tight. We'll be right back. Blue Elevation isn't just a fundraiser for the basketball and football programs. Our nonprofit crowdsources for all Boise State sports. Your NIL contributions, end-of-year gifts, in-kind donations, and your subscriptions go to retaining players, coaches, and bringing in recruits of all sports. We are set up to deliver your gift to the specific department of your choice. Our softball program is a top 3 department at Boise State, so we are crowdsourcing to equip Coach Schultz with the arsenal needed to dominate the conference, win the College World Series, and add to the purse my dream of constructing a softball stadium with blue turf and retractable roof so we can enjoy February games. If you would like to support softball, please go to our nonprofit blueelevation.org, become a member by giving any amount, and make sure to type softball in the comment line at checkout. Go Broncos! All right, welcome back, guys. The current team, 2025, they are currently 15-5. Like we've been saying, they just finished, a 20 game road trip that took them, all over. But at least it was sunny, and they actually went out of country too. So international flair. What you've been keeping up with them? What are your thoughts on the performance so far? What you've seen, or at least looked at the stats or whatever.
Yeah, I think the performance is awesome so far. I think there's a lot of depth, and then there's a good mix of like veterans and then youngsters as well. And then I think there's a lot of really young like talent as well. So it's super cool to see that as well.
I got a quick question for you, if you don't mind. You mentioned the international flair. Does that help recruits, bring in top talent recruits, saying, hey, you get to play internationally if you come to Boise State? Does that make a difference?
I think, in my opinion, I think it does, just because it shows like, oh, like we get to go to all these big tournaments and like you're playing like good teams, and so it just shows that your program is building.
Yeah.
So
there's been a couple things that kind of stood out to me this year so far, and that's one of the things is the emergence of Megan Lake. She was behind Jordan, over there in left field, and so she's like stepped up this year and really been awesome. Like it's been a pleasant surprise. Like I mean, she had spurts last year where she popped one out but she's doing really consistent. The average is up, and that's great. And like you were saying with the younger talent, like I mean, we got a young masher with Mac out there, Mackenzie Butt. She's right now she's at 9 home runs, right? So you could forecast she might hit 24 home runs if she keeps this spree going, like, and she's a true freshman. And then you still got and then you have the speed on the base path. You got Quinn Sutherland, she's stealing bases. Sophia is stealing bases still, and then and like you said, you have Chloe Hughes, she's hitting for average, and she's got speed on the base path. So what I've noticed this year is where in years past, we've mashed a lot, right? But we had consistent hitters like yourself and others. But now we have, we got the mashers are, you still have Sydney's mashing. So is Mackenzie Hanna. But you have the rest of the team just, hitting like crazy and running the base pass and scoring runs. So that's kind of what's been stood out to me. And I'm kind of a nerdy guy about stats, and they're giving me a lot of stats that I can track and update everybody on. So that's I kind of geek out on that. So that's awesome. So we haven't played any conference games yet, right? So can you let Bronco Nation know how important, like, I mean, the other games are great, playing the like top tier teams and stuff like, so far we're doing great. Like there's only been that one little game that we lost to Utah Valley, was the norm. But so, the other teams, like we ran into a motivated Hoosier team, and then we dropped one to FIU, but then we took it back, and then Houston had our number. So, but so far so good. But but that's kind of how our first of the season always goes. We play some of those out of conference teams, and then we come back home, and then then we get into conference play. So can you like let Bronco Nation know how important those conference games, especially like the home games, right? And how stressful that could be, and how needed the home crowd is for those games.
Yeah. Well, of course, conference games are important because it does like impact us on postseason eligibility and like making the tournament. And especially with our championship tournament we now have in play is very important. And then another thing that I thought about was, it's like a huge thing, is like setting a standard for the future Broncos. So like incoming recruits, like setting that standard so they have like something to go off of and like know what to expect at that point. And I think the coaches have done a super good job with like setting standards like from day one, kind of making us feel confident and like comfortable in where we're at, and like getting a feel for what we can do. So
yeah, so we're just going to kind of look at the schedule here. So I mean, right here you got the upcoming Blue Collar Classic. You got Idaho State, Utah, Friday and Saturday. Those are going to be pretty good games right there. Then you got Montana and Washington at a neutral site, I believe. And then we play. Then the conference schedule starts next week on the 14th away. But really, we really get in the mix where the home crowd could be help out, and that's when Nevada comes to town. Do you how tough was Nevada last year? Do you remember?
They were a pretty good team. I think Yeah, they were pretty solid. I think we took the series from them. They're just very scrappy. They've always been like that since my freshman year, at least. Super scrappy team. They have a lot of speed, but yeah, they were pretty decent.
Yeah, and of course, San Diego State. They're coming off. They're going to be hosting the championship tournament. Like during the year last year, though, like which team in conference gave you the most fight? Was it Nevada, or was it any of those other ones? It seems like it was pretty during the course of the years. Like seemed like it was like a dogfight in every single one of those conference games, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a dogfight. I think. I'm trying to think. If it wasn't San Diego, it'd probably have to be, I'd say Nevada, or it's like a tie between Nevada, Utah State, and Fresno. Fresno's really scrappy as well.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of speed too. Utah, they have a lot of power hitters. They did my last year, but I'd say it's a three-way tie between them. Honestly, they're all pretty scrappy.
So Bronco Nation, next Friday, on the 14th, let's give them the support, because I remember how scrappy Nevada was. It was like each time you got ahead of them, like they came right back. It's like, come on, man, stop. So, Sam's got a couple questions for you.
Yeah. So, of those games, what would you say are the ones that are must-see TV? What should Bronco Nation be circling on their calendars? That I can only go to a couple games this year. What games are those going to be?
I would say definitely San Diego State. And then I'd also say Stanford, just because San Diego State, kind of a rival, I guess you would consider them. And then Stanford, I think it'd be a super good matchup for us as well. So
yeah,
probably those two.
And those are the April games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What will it take for Boise State to make the Women's College World Series? Right now, you've got Sophia Knight leading the nation with batting average hits and hits per game and runs per game. Mm-hmm. Does she keep that up? Does that get them closer to that the World Series, or what does it take to get to that point?
Well, a lot of what we talked about when I was there was just trusting the process. It does take a lot of mental toughness. You have to remember, like, we don't just play softball. We go to school. We wake up early for weights, for practice, for conditioning. So it just takes a lot of mental toughness and success. Softball is a game of failure. So you have to remember that. I always struggle that. But and then also just having a good team dynamic. And then something we talked about as well is playing for each other, because it's a team sport. So just being selfish and then getting the whole team to be able to be bought into everything, just to gain that success as well. And then just being able to embrace the challenge, because it's going to be hard. It's not easy to get there, and then just always be grateful. So
yeah. How close were you guys? I going to be 100% brutally honest.
Because you didn't come to a game?
Well, I live in Texas, so I can't.
Oh,
I actually learned you guys were in Texas last year, the weekend after you were in Texas. So I'm like, well, that sucks.
That's funny.
So how close were you guys? For the people who don't watch consistently, how close were you guys, or how close have you been to making the College World Series? And do you see this team being able to get closer, or teams in the future? Do you see that Boise State in the College World Series?
Yeah, with this team, I see like a lot of success as well. And like the coaches have done a super good job. When I was there, Coach Schultz and Coach Fran would always talk about pass the bat and just kind of communicating with each other and like what you're seeing. But when I was there, my freshman year, we weren't that close. My sophomore year, in my opinion, we should have gotten a bid because we were 40-10, but we ended up not doing that because they said our schedule wasn't strong enough. My junior year, we should have. We got first in conference, but then that's when they brought the tournament in, and then we lost, unfortunately. And then this last year, we were very close because we made it to the championship as the underdogs. So yeah, we were pretty close. I'd say my sophomore and senior year. So
yeah, DC.
You guys got robbed by the committee there. Sorry, yeah. I gotta say, like in 2022, you guys should have made the at least the 20. So
yeah, do you think this team has what it takes to break that barrier?
I think they do. Yeah, they need to have the mental toughness again and play as a team, like build that chemistry, build those connections. In my opinion, I think it's best, like, I know you're with them all the time and you might just want to have your alone time, but like going out of your way and like having like team bonding things, like I know they've had that and we've had that in the past as well, but just like being able to like build those connections, especially with people you might not hang out as much with, like on the field or on the road, so just trying to build a little family, I guess I'd say. So, yeah.
Is there any squabbles here and there, and does Coach Schultz have to referee?
No. I was like, wait, what? No, he doesn't.
Okay.
That'd stress him out too much.
So the culture's pretty good.
Yeah, the culture's good. Yeah, we all get along. Yeah. Yeah,
because so when you were a freshman, I believe you guys were 20 and 25, right?
Yeah. And
then Coach came in 2021, and I believe you guys were 40-10 that year. Mm-hmm. You guys got robbed. Yeah. So Coach Schultz is doing something great there. So that's why we've been really pushing hard for people to pour into that program because like I said, that's one of our top tiered programs in my opinion. Take aside my love for baseball and stuff, but really like the products there, you can see it, and I mean you guys are always in the mix, even when there's a little downtime. Like last year, you guys started streaking at the right time, and everybody clutched up, and it's a great program. So we really appreciate you joining us, Abby. Would love to have you back for another future episode if you want to come back.
Talk of course.
So just that, as the segment comes to an end, do you have any message for Bronco Nation right now?
I'd say come support softball and be really loud and get a hot dog.
The one thing I miss about Boise State Sports is the hot dog.
Right?
Yeah, those Bronco dogs are pretty good. Well, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you, Abby.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Yep, thank you.
Yep, bye.
Abby Bumcrot.
If you need painting done, get out of the cold or the heat and let Crosby Custom Coatings take care of you. Scott has been your Treasure Valley expert since 1979. Call him at 208-939-6962 and mention Blue Elevation to get your 20% discount.
All right, now we're back. Thank you guys for sticking around. I will say that if you want the best experience, being in the YouTube in the YouTube channel in the chat, it's probably going to be your best experience when it comes to these shows. That way you can interact with us that way better. So I guess on the next on the agenda is we can recap the Boise State Air Force game. Just happened yesterday.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in the Bronco Nation updates group think I'm negative all the time. So I'm just going to be that game. They should have won by a whole lot more. No, it was a good game. I'm glad it was a blowout. The net rankings, especially late in the season, the net rankings take in margin of victory. So I'm really glad that it was a blowout. I have in my bracketology, I have Boise State as a first four in, and I decided whenever I did everything, I decided to pull up ESPN, and sure enough, Lenardi has them as a first four or a last four in as well. So they're making waves late in the season, which is what I was hoping for. In seasons past, they've always made that run in December and January, and then fell off the end of February and into tournament time. They just fell off the map. So I'm glad they did that fall off in the middle of the season and really making this strong push here at the end of the season to get back to an at-large chance. Season's not over. They still have Colorado State to contend with, and they need to make it more than the first round in the Mountain West Conference. They can't be a one and done again. That could be a dagger. But yeah, the Air Force game, that was fun to watch. It seemed like they were having fun with the game. You noticed that too?
And what kind of really hurt was them letting that last 7 points by Air Force, because that they kind of got dinged in the net too, if you looked at it today. But it was pretty cool. Tyson Degenhart still got his points, but also you're still seeing the emergence of Peanut Carmichael and Money Meadow. They are, it was Andrew Meadow who really gave them a spark, because they were down early, like 8-0 or 8-2 or something like that, and then Money Meadows just started doing his thing, and then they just kind of followed that up. And even Omar Stanley had a good game. He outsized them, so he had 10 points and I believe like 4 boards, and
he had 3 boards.
3 boards, yeah. And then he had a couple steals and some blocks. So good to see him getting involved, and it's right time of year. Like they're doing something that's uncharacteristic of a Rice team. Like usually, they're coming into the tournament, on the down slope, but this year it's worked out great with their schedule and stuff. And then but we really need one more win, right? It's one win at a time. And now that the Colorado State is on their sights for senior night at the X. So, and that's already sold out for Tyson and Al and Omar's last home game as Bronco. So really,
it's going to be a scrapper too. I mean, Colorado State just beat Utah State as well by 17. So it's not going to be one of those, all right, this is going to be an easy senior night win and let's get into tournament time. They're going to have to fight for it. They are coming to one of the toughest environments, probably top 3 environment in the Mountain West Conference, probably behind New Mexico and San Diego State. ESPN got them at a 68.5% chance to win, though, so I guess that's a good thing. So it'd be nice to see Degenhart get rip off and go for another 30 again.
Yeah. It's looking like if he's going to have a chance to take that top spot from Tanaka, it's going to be in the Mountain West Conference tournament.
A deep run in the tournament at that.
Yeah, and they need to, because I mean it's great how they're finishing up, like and it helps that San Diego State lost yesterday.
Yeah.
That was a huge plus, because we could still see, like, it's shaping up to where we might see, I don't know, a 4-way tie at second, something like that.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the standings now. I was hoping that they'd be up before you finished your sentence. Of course, technology wouldn't be that kind to me, though. So right now we are in a two-way tie for third, and San Diego State's fourth. So right now we would be a top 4 seed in the Mountain West Conference. We would have to beat Colorado State in order to keep that bye, because San Diego State swept us. If we lose, San Diego State's gonna take the top 4, and we'll be a 5 seed. So this is a must win if we want that first round bye.
Right. And there's some debate on, would you rather have the 4-5, or do you want to play UNLV? UNLV is pretty hot right now. So, but you just play to win, right?
Yep.
You just win, baby. And then also last night, for senior night for the women, they crushed Utah State. I mean, Utah State was, they're 1-14 in conference, but that was really good for Abby and Elodie and Mary Kay Nero. So nice to see them go out with the win at home. It was powered by Natalie Pasco and Tatum Thompson. Natalie scored 25 points and Tatum Thompson scored 21. So good for them. I just hope, I'm hoping and praying for Abby and the seniors that they can just, catch some lightning in a bottle going into the Mountain West tournament. They play on Sunday against Nevada. So I'm just hoping that, especially for Abby, she's she's an active legend. First ballot Hall of Famer at Boise State. And so is Mary Kay. So really love to see them just take the tournament and, wind down their careers in the NCAA tournament, but they're going to have to win it to get in. You win it, you're in. So they're going to have to take that mentality into the tournament starting Sunday.
So sneaking back into the men's basketball real quick, the conference race comes down to Colorado State, New Mexico for the regular season. New Mexico plays UNLV at 9:00 Friday, 8:00 your time, and Colorado State obviously plays Boise State at the same time. So if Boise State loses and New Mexico loses, then you'll have that two-way tie, top of the Mountain West standings for with New Mexico and Colorado State. So New Mexico is going to be big Boise State fans while they're playing UNLV, because if Boise State wins, then New Mexico takes the conference. I'm sitting here trying to.
But UNLV is not a shoe-in. They're hot right now, man.
Yeah,
they are. Yep. They are hot. So
yeah, New Mexico is going to have to win. If New Mexico wins, then it doesn't matter what the Boise State Colorado State game finishes. New Mexico will win. They're winning. They got the championship. If they lose, then if New Mexico loses and Boise State wins, that creates the tie. And I'm sitting here. I'm looking to see who's got the tiebreaker real quick. It looks like New Mexico has the tiebreaker. So New Mexico's got they don't need to win. They got both heads up against Colorado State. So New Mexico's your Mountain West regular season champion, folks. There we have it. And
we're just playing for, some cred, that recency bias to get into the tournament if we have that oh shit moment in the Mountain West Conference tournament. But we got to keep winning. We want to keep winning. And for you, Bronco Nation, who go to the game on Friday, let's blow the roof off of the X with how loud you can get it for that for senior night. But just want to thank everyone for watching tonight. Really appreciate Abby for coming in and talking with us for a while. And again, if you guys believe in building all these programs up to championship and Olympic level and dominating the Pac-12, check out blueelevation.org. Become a member. Anything and everything counts. And just wherever you want want your gift to go, just type in the comment line where you want it to go, and we will put it in that bucket and get it to Boise State to invest in that program. But for Sam, I'm Nick with Bronco Nation Live. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, we will see you later. Go Broncos, bleed blue, and ride or die.
Bronco Nation Live is brought to you by Blue Elevation and the Serving Bronco Nation directory. Hey Bronco Nation, if you're looking for more followers, clients, or customers, check out ServingBroncoNation.com and get your business added to the directory. When you purchase a tax-deductible plan, you are investing in Boise State and getting access to millions of views throughout the year on the directory and the Bronco Nation network.
Fight for the soul, my hero.